when my mother, the most important person in my life, passed away from cancer. And even as she
Cancer
taught
shouldn't
us
kill anybody.
to keep
It shouldn't
our
even
family
happen, I
at
should
the
say.
center of our world, she also pushed us to see a world beyond ourselves. She taught us to be conscious and compassionate about the struggles of all people, to believe public service is a noble cause and the fight for justice is a shared responsibility. That led me to become a lawyer, a district attorney, attorney general, and a United States senator. And at every step of the way, I've been guided by the words I spoke from the first time I stood in a courtroom. Kamala Harris, for the people. I have fought for children and survivors of sexual assault. I fought against transnational criminal organizations. I took on the biggest banks and helped take down one of the biggest for-profit colleges. I know a predator when I see one.
Biden's a predator.
My mother taught me that service to others gives life purpose and meaning. And oh, how I wish she were here tonight, but I know she's looking down on me from above. I keep thinking about that 25-year-old Indian woman, all of 5 feet tall, who gave birth to me at Kaiser Hospital in Oakland, California. On that day, she probably could have never imagined that I would be standing before you now and speaking these words. I accept your nomination for Vice President of the United States of America. I do so committed to the values she taught me, to the word that teaches me to walk by faith and not by sight, and to a vision passed on through generations of Americans. One
She doesn't
that
have
Joe
the faith that we
Biden
want in
shares.
office. Not
a
religion
vision
faith.
of our nation as a beloved
The life
community,
model.
where all are welcome, no matter what we look like, no matter where we come from, or who we love. A country where we may not agree on every detail, but we are united by the fundamental belief that every human being is of infinite worth, deserving of compassion, dignity, and respect. A country
No
where
woman
we
should
look
trade
out
her
for one
birthright
where
to
we
be
rise
financially
and fall as one,
or
where we
televangelically
face our
famous.
challenges and
I want to hear about the
celebrate our
babies.
triumphs
Where are the babies?
together. Today,
Warren is the one who's
that
really
country
set me off
feels
in this
distant.
situation. Warren with the health care and the home
Donald
care
Trump's
for the
failure
children,
of leadership has cost
when the beautiful
lives
women should be making the
and
babies and
livelihoods.
creating their own child care programs instead of paying other
If
people
you're
to raise
a
their children
parent
for them.
struggling with your child's
And right now
remote
somebody's
learning,
paying her to
or
raise
you're a teacher
a man's
struggling
children
on the other
instead of
side
her
of
own
that
children.
screen, you know what we're doing right now is not working. And we are a nation that is grieving
I'm grieving.
the loss of life, the loss of jobs, the loss of opportunities, the loss of normalcy,
Yeah,
and
that's you.
yes, the loss of certainty. And while this virus touches us all, we got to be honest, it is not an equal opportunity offender. Black, Latino, and Indigenous people are suffering and dying disproportionately. And this is not a coincidence. It is the effect of structural racism, of inequities in education and technology, healthcare and housing, job security and transportation, the injustice in reproductive and maternal health care, in the excessive use of force by police, and in our broader criminal justice
She's
system.
right about all that.
This virus, it has no eyes, and yet it knows exactly how we see
Yeah,
each
she's right
other
about that.
and how we treat each other. And let's be
That little
clear,
area should be quoted.
there is no vaccine.
Structural,
racism.
etc.
We've got to do the work. For George Floyd, for Breonna Taylor, for the lives of too many others to name, for our children, and for all of us. We've got to do the work to fulfill that promise of equal justice under law. Because here's the thing, none of us are free until all of us are free. So we're at an inflection point. The constant chaos leaves us adrift. The incompetence
It does.
makes us feel afraid. The callousness makes us feel alone.
Well, she's more capable
It's
than
a lot.
Biden.
And here's the thing.
Ouch.
We can do better.
Yeah, she is. She speaks better.
And deserve
better brains,
so much
better logic.
more.
Hopefully
We
it wasn't
must
written by somebody
elect
else.
a
I'd be
president
pissed if she
who
didn't
will
help
bring
compose it
something
herself.
different, something better, and do the important work.
I feel like she owns the script though, so I'm hoping she
will bring
did most of the
all
work.
of us together.
I think she's like
Black,
gesturing
white,
that she
Latino,
birthed it.
Asian, indigenous.
Maybe talked
To
it over some other
achieve the
people.
future we collectively want, we must elect Joe Biden.
You can elect her, but
And
don't
I will
elect
tell
him.
you, I knew
I don't even want to say it
Joe
like that.
as vice president.
Not
I
on this
knew
ticket.
Joe
Maybe in
on
the future.
campaign trail
Maybe she'll be president in the future,
And I
but
first
not
got
under
to
Joe
know Joe
Biden.
as
Or
the
not with
father
Joe Biden.
of my friend. So Joe's son, Bo, and I served as attorneys general of our states, Delaware and California.
Bo dropped dead.
During the Great Recession, he and I spoke on the phone nearly every
Told
day,
you he's a serial killer.
working together.
Might
to
not be
win back
intentional,
billions
but
of
the
dollars
Lord military
for homeowners
radar
from
that
the big
controls
banks
Biden's
that
life,
foreclosed on
killing
people's
everybody
homes.
that's part of his family.
And Bo and I, we would
And
talk
she's part
about
of the
his
other
family,
part of his family that
how
the
as a
military
single
radar of
father,
Biden is
Joe
killing.
would spend 4 hours every day riding the train back and forth from Wilmington to Washington. Bo and Hunter got to have breakfast every morning with their dad. They went to sleep every night with the sound of his voice reading bedtime stories. And while they endured an unspeakable
Still a serial
loss,
killer MO.
those two little boys always knew that they were deeply, unconditionally loved. And what also moved
Bullshit.
me about Joe is the work that he did as he was going
That's
back
true.
and forth. This is the leader who wrote the Violence Against Women Act and enacted
Signed
the
it?
assault weapons ban, who as vice president implemented the
I like
Recovery
those.
Act,
Those are good for
which
women.
brought our country back
We want to
from
get rid of the
Great
short
Recession.
guns. The
He
concealable
championed
guns, get rid of all
the
those.
Affordable Care
20
Act,
inches and more
protecting millions of Americans
are
with
safer
pre-existing
than the concealable
conditions.
guns.
Who
The
spent
concealable guns are the
decades
ones that control the
promoting
government
American
and scare the
values
politicians.
and interests around the world.
The long guns most people don't fear.
Joe, he
I hate you.
believes
What? It's true.
we stand with our
I
allies
shouldn't say most don't
and
fear.
stand up to our adversaries.
The one that will shake your nerves
Right
is the
now,
one that can be hidden
we
and
have a
snuck up
president
on with.
who
The other
turns our
one, look alert.
tragedies into
The one that's
political
concealable, you're like,
weapons. Joe
I don't
will
want
be
to
a
be the.
president who turns our challenges
I want to be like the.
into purpose.
Think it's
Joe
good to go
will bring
outside.
us
Let's go.
together to build an economy that doesn't leave anyone behind, where a good-paying
His
job
son, he left his
is
son
the
behind.
floor,
Go on,
not the
run
ceiling.
for the presidency or
Joe will bring us
politics.
together
I don't have a policy
to
for you
end
to
this
fight for. I just think you
pandemic
should
and make
capitalize
sure
on me
that
dying.
we
Gee
are
gosh, darn.
prepared for the next
I'm saying,
one.
gee gosh, golly
Joe
darn.
will bring us
About me
together
eating popcorn.
to squarely face and dismantle racial injustice, furthering the work of generations.
He hasn't done any of that. They deleted
Joe and I believe
Negro.
that we
They deleted
can
Oriental.
build
They
that
deleted
beloved
Eskimo.
community, one that is
They removed
strong
tons of history
and
from
decent,
the Constitution, from
and
the U.S.
kind.
Code, and
One
from
in
like
which
one other
we
thing
can
that I've forgotten
all
whatever it is.
see ourselves.
It was Pennsylvania Avenue.
That's the vision
They
that our
removed
parents
braces from
and
Pennsylvania
grandparents
Avenue
fought for.
from the
The
White
vision
House.
that made my own life possible. The vision that makes the American promise for all its complexities and imperfections, a promise worth fighting for.
I haven't heard the promise.
So make no mistake, the road ahead is not easy. We may stumble. We may fall short. But I pledge to you that we will act boldly and deal with our challenges honestly.
Drunks are very
We will
bold people.
speak truths, and we will act with the same faith in you that we ask you to place in us. We believe that our country, all of us, will stand together for a better future. And we already are. We see it in the doctors, the nurses, the home health care workers, and frontline workers who are risking their lives to save people they've never met. We see it in the teachers and truck drivers, the factory workers and farmers, the postal workers and poll workers, all putting their own
That's
safety
painful.
on the line to help us get through this pandemic. And we see it in so many of you,
Someone
who
put
are
those words
working.
in her mouth.
not just to get us through our current
Ow.
crisis, but to somewhere better. There's something happening all across our country. It's not about Joe or me. It's about you. And it's about us. People of all ages and colors and creeds who are, yes, taken to the streets, and also persuading our family members, rallying our friends, organizing our neighbors, and getting out the vote. And we have shown that when we vote, we expand access to health care and expand access to the ballot box and ensure that more working families can make a decent living. And I'm so inspired by a new generation. You are pushing us to realize the ideals of our nation, pushing us to live the values we share: decency and fairness, justice and love. You are patriots who remind us that to love our country is to fight for the ideals of our country. In this election, we have a chance
Someone definitely wrote
to
that
change
for her.
the course
Because those were a lot of
history.
hollow words.
We're all in this fight. You, me, and Joe. Together. What an awesome responsibility. What an awesome privilege. So let's fight
Patriots.
with conviction. Let's fight with hope. Let's fight with confidence in ourselves and a commitment to each other.
Alexa,
To the
define
America
patriot.
we know is possible.
Patriot is usually defined as a person
The
who
America
loves,
we love.
supports, and defends his or her country and its interests with
And
devotion.
years from now,
For more, ask
this
me to
moment
give you
will
more
have
definitions
passed.
for patriot.
She hasn't been
And our
allowed to
Did
have
that
any
answer your
kids.
question?
and our grandchildren will look
Yes, no.
in our eyes, and they're going
Thanks for
to
your
ask
feedback.
us, where were you when the stakes were so high? They will ask us, what
Looney
was
bin?
it like? And we
Don't
will
be to
tell
say
them.
it like that. We're going nuts with other
We will
things.
tell them, not just how we felt.
Maybe not other things. Politics,
We will tell them
church,
what we
family,
did. Thank you.
remote control.
God bless you.
They're just
And
like,
God bless the United States of America.
be busy or distracted with all this stuff. I wasn't watching TV. I was reading and texting the fucking internet. Hate you. That's interesting. That's annoying because 2 of those are fake. So what the hell is going on with the person being in 2 places? Are there any other people who have more than once? I should have been counting that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 30 minus 1, 29. Hey, dude. That is so not who anybody should even consider. It's definitely mind control. There is just no way anybody in the press thought electing this guy was a good idea. Like, he's on stage. I'm going to start a new recording. It just ruins hearing her to see him.